What's up, everybody? Welcome back to my new series, Favorite Albums Through the Years. Today is episode 1. We're talking about 1963. So this year is all about two albums. There's no honorable mentions for the first 2 years of this series, 63 and 64, and you'll see why momentarily. But there's really one band in particular that made me want to start the series this early, and if you're a music history fan, you probably know which band I'm talking about. So, yeah, if you don't know how the series works, I explained it in episode 0. If you haven't watched that, go check it out where I talk about my two favorite albums from before 1963. But if not, I talk about my favorite album from a year and the runner-up. And then you let me know about your thoughts in the comments, and that's how the series works. It's pretty basic, pretty self-explanatory. So without further ado, let's go straight into it. So the first album of the day is the second album from my favorite band of all time, 1963. We have With the Beatles. This album was, like I said, the second album, and because of that, it was kind of rushed. It was put together rather quickly, written and recorded rather quickly, not as quickly as the first album, as we'll see, but the originals on this album are not as good as some other albums. This is probably my least favorite Beatles album, but there's still great songs like All My Loving, All I've Got to Do, It Won't Be Long, Not a Second Time, and some of their best covers, Roll Over Beethoven, Please Please Me, Money, You Really Got a Hold on Me. Overall, this is still a great album. Even the worst Beatles album is still one of the best of all time, and I think that because it had almost no other competition, we get this one in second place, runner-up for 1963. Alright, and then my favorite album of the year, 1963, we have the first album by my favorite band of all time, Please Please Me. This album is probably the album I've listened to more than any other album ever. It's not my favorite. It's not even my favorite Beatles album, I'll say, but I think it's one of the great debut albums in rock, in music history in general. Obviously, I Saw Her Standing There is an incredible opener. Such a powerful song. Shows the raw energy these guys had. Twist and Shout is an iconic cover. The two singles from this album, Ask Me Why, Love Me Do, are still great songs. Boys is an awesome Ringo song, an incredible cover. And obviously you have the four Beatles, John, Paul, George, and Ringo, and they were a force to be reckoned with back in the day. I think it would be incredible to see some of these songs live back in the club days, and I think that this album is a pretty good representation of what they could have sounded like live, just the pure power they had on stage. Unfortunately, that they became worse live as time went on, as we all know, but in their early days, these first two albums are still great albums, even though they definitely do not reach the same heights that their later period music did. So that's it for today. My two picks for this year, 1963, we have With the Beatles and Please Please Me. Both great albums, both by the same band. There's no honorable mentions for this year because there were not that many great albums released in 1963. There were a lot of great songs, but most of them were not albums, so they're not included. Next year, 1964, will also be the same thing. However, from then on, from 1965 on, there will be honorable mentions. So look out for those videos when they come out. This is going to be a very sporadic schedule because I have a lot of listening to do. As you can see, I have my list here. Those are all of the albums I have to listen to for some years. You can see some are bigger than others. Here's the second page. Some years are bigger than others. Some are not very big, but yeah. So that's why there's not a bunch of these videos coming up. There won't be any daily schedule or anything like that. But if you're interested in more, press that subscribe button so you can get notified whenever I post something. I would like to branch out and do more things. I'm gonna start doing some ranking the albums if that's something you guys want to see. If you guys want to see other things like that, I'm open for anything. I love talking about music, and that's why I'm here. So let me know. There in future videos, even in this series, I'm thinking about getting some guests on to talk. I have a couple friends, couple family members who may like to join, so we'll see what that happens. So yeah, make sure you subscribe to see all that happening. Like the video if you enjoyed it. Really helps push this to other people who also may enjoy it. And until next time, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next video for 1964.